everybody, welcome back to another episode of Foster Talks. And today I am with a debut author. He's just new to books, but he's not new to art. He's been an actor, he's been a lot of things recently.
Yes.
His face might look a lot familiar to you because, this face has been in a lot of movies. So you go back and check that out. But today I'm not here to talk about his acting journey, but more about his writing journey. The debut author, Harssh Singh. Harsh, welcome to Foster Talks.
Thank you so much for having me.
How are you feeling that out of all these years that you've been on stage, you've been acting, finally people are calling you today as an author? What do you feel?
I'm bossing my family about it now.
Okay.
I keep telling them I'm an author, you have to treat me better now. It's something that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to write. I used to write a lot when I was growing up. I had written some novels, children's books when I was 13.
Oh.
I don't have them anymore. Thank God for that. So I always was writing, but I had kind of never imagined that I was going to be writing novels. But I'm a very, very avid reader.
Okay.
And then I think somewhere along the last couple of years, it just struck me that, okay, I should give it a shot simply because I love the medium so much.
Yeah.
So I started writing last year and I was expecting the process. Everybody says writing is tough and it's a very isolating process. I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Okay, interesting.
It flowed fairly easy for me, I think. Once I finished it, I started sending it to a few people expecting that I might... Mostly I was afraid of the reaction being, listen, drop this. This is not for you. But whoever I spoke to, including some people whom I really, really respect, whose reading tastes I love, said it's great. So then I felt confident enough to, approach publishers, and here I am. So it's been nice.
How long did you take to write the book?
I had two rules. One was I was not going to edit while I wrote.
Okay.
And I was going to write a minimum of, I would say, 1,000 words a day. I began with that.
Okay. Good discipline.
Yeah.
Okay.
So no matter what, wherever, in really the weirdest, oddest places, I had my laptop open and I was writing. I started writing, I would say, in June of last year.
Oh.
And but I had the
idea.
Novel plotted pretty much clearly in my head a year ago. But I started officially writing, I would say, June last year. I had the first draft ready by October. And then there was a lot of drafts.
Oh, obviously. Then there is a huge publishing journey.
But the first few weeks, months flowed quite calmly. But
how was the journey for you? Because it's two different things altogether, right? Even from your talent, skill set perspective, what you need to be on stage to perform and what you need, skill sets that you require to actually write. These are completely two different things altogether. So how has your experience been when you started sitting dedicatedly, taking time out every single day, doing those 1,000 words?
Yeah.
How has this experience been for you? Also, how did you evolve after that?
So a few of my friends are going to laugh at this. I know one of my friends is here. He's going to laugh at this. Whenever I get even like very small parts in films or web, for many, many years, I've been writing some sort of a short biography for myself. Okay. Many times it will be a very small character which nobody really gives cares about in the actual scheme of things, but I would write like a life story of that person. Sometimes it would be 3 pages, sometimes it would be more.
Okay,
purely for my own sake. So I would have some backstory for myself. I think I was the one who took it more seriously than anybody else. But so I was always doing that. I've been doing that, I would say, since 2016.
Whoa, okay.
Purely for myself. Plus, also a couple of years ago, I decided to learn how to play the guitar. Not that it has anything to do with this. It's just the discipline of putting hours in where you can stay focused. In today's day and age, that's a tough part.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, true.
So then it was wonderful because you have the scenes playing out in your head, and then to put them down on paper and then shove them aside for a couple of days and then read them again to see if the same images pop up. That was the process for me, that I visualize what's happening, and then when I read it again, do the same visuals pop up or it's not giving me that picture again.
Wow, okay.
So I believe that it's a visual book, and I believe it's a fast-paced book. So for me, the scenes, there are temples and there are homes and woods and lakes and stuff, and they're very important for me to be able to visualize them.
As somebody who has read your book, yes, it is very visual.
So that was my thing. I was most concerned about the fact that if I'm seeing visuals in my head and then I'm putting them down on paper, I'm sure your visuals are very different from mine, obviously.
Yeah. It'll be my imagination. Yeah, definitely.
But I wanted to make sure that when I'm reading it 20 days or 1 month later, are the same visuals popping up. And that was, I think, for me, the most amazing part of it. The funnest part of it is that, it's all coming up. It's all there. Yeah, that was the most enjoyable.
That's interesting. But then again, this is my way of asking you a fun question also. Now you're trying to build in a career as an author.
I'm trying to. Why?
Isn't your acting career going well?
No. Okay.
What is going on there?
No, it's acting is a very it as a profession. If you're in acting, there's a lot of steps to get the job that you want.
Okay.
There's a lot of rejection also. Like I know I tell a lot of actors who work with me that for 100 auditions you'll get one.
Oh yeah.
All right. So you have to be very resilient for 99 auditions that you're going to get rejected, and you have to still say, okay, fine, I'll go again. It's a terrible process. It's enjoyable sometimes. It's not enjoyable most of the times, and you have your ups and downs with, and I was getting very I wanted something which was not a down, which was in my control. Creatively.
Okay.
So if I'm putting out a book, a lot of people I know who are script writers and all told me, why didn't you write a script? In my head, it was like, if I write a script, again, I need 100 people's approval and another 100 people involved for that project to see the day, right? Actors have to get involved, production houses have to get involved. Okay, this is mine. This book is mine. I wanted to put it out there with just me. Okay. Yes. The incredible publisher, No Voice and all have been very, very kind, and I love the editors that I've worked with. But for me, it was the process of maine kiya, khatam ho gaya, it's done. Now nobody gets to have any other say about it. It's mine and it's out there. Okay. That was it. Very selfish, but yeah.
I think, but then when you're putting it in that way, when you're looking at it, I think a lot of authors who write a book has this good personal but selfish reason behind it. But that's a very nice reason to have.
It was very simple. I wanted it to be out there. I wanted to be able to say, I've done it. It now doesn't need any other steps for it to reach completion. Okay, so my daughter goes to a Waldorf school. There's a Steiner form of education where they talk about people have 800 ideas, but they have will to complete one.
Very true.
I wanted to complete one. I wanted to reach completion just for my will and for me to say that this is my sort of prayer and it's out there in the world and it's done.
It's really beautiful to see that you had something that you wanted to do, and now that in physical form you've achieved it and it is there. Congratulations on that. That's a beautiful journey in it for sure.
I'm so thankful.
So to talk a little bit about your book, Harsh, one thing for sure, this book is beautiful. And I'm not telling this just to make you happy. I've read the book. I've loved every single page of it, and the very first page that you've written, a very small diary entry itself, got me hooked into the book. But my question is, this is a historical fiction, but then you've added a supernatural content into it.
Yes.
Where did these ideas, these are things that I would not have imagined that will actually be there. I thought this is a horror book and I picked it. Then I realized, no, this is a historical fiction. But these are very different ideas, very creatively put and merged together.
Thank you.
How did this entire ideation for the book happen?
I don't know if any writer will be able to tell you, I have this formula and that's how it happens. For me, it was simply a question of, I had the character in mind in today's Reva, the lead character. I had the character in mind in 2024.
Okay.
Yeah, about a few special powers that she has. And a couple of years ago, about 2 years ago, I started thinking, what would be her origin story? What would be her childhood be like when a 8 or a 9-year-old girl discovers these kinds of powers that she can visualize somebody's death? What would that be like? How the family wouldn't be supportive. They say,
of course,
she's a freak. Why is she in a house? So that was the start of it. And then, so that was one start. The second thing, I've always been involved in spiritual books in the sense it sounds very pretentious, but I was always reading the Neil Donald Walsh books or books about spirituality and stuff like that. And it somehow merged. But on the other hand, I love racy fiction. Stephen King is one of my favorite
Oh,
authors.
yeah.
Ken Follett is one of my favorite authors. So the dull, I love those also. I love those long, well-written books also.
Literary fictions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for me, it had to be an entertaining, sort of a fast-paced book. I literally see it in my head as an action movie. Yeah, this is to all Netflix.
Netflix Prime, everybody, please
Yeah,
listen to the
yes,
sentence.
yes,
We'll clip it and we'll send it separately also.
So I always saw it as an action book in an action movie, and yet it had to be intriguing about the people. So I think it was, the ideas just sort of converged in the sense that many years ago, strangely, very ironic, my grandparents used to live in Calcutta, and they used to go to this place called Ordnance Club.
Yeah.
It's in Kolkata. It's near Hooghly.
Okay.
तो बड़ा ही वो, it's a very posh sort of a club. तो उसमें अगर आप चप्पल पहन के जाएंगे आपको अंदर नहीं आने देंगे.
Yeah,
Right? The
sure.
waiters have white gloves.
Yeah.
So if you walk in with shorts or jeans also, and you're wearing, they will toss you out. So it's a very proper club, still based in the British times. And in their library, which is beautiful, there was a book on Indian martyrs.
Oh, okay.
And there was a passage about this girl Pritilata.
Oh, okay.
So for the history buffs, in 1932, there was a club in Chittagong, which was a British club.
Yeah.
And there's a sign outside that said dogs and Indians not allowed.
Yeah. Which you can see on the
Which you
cover.
can see.
Yeah.
Yeah, dogs and Indians not allowed.
Yeah.
So it was very insulting.
Yeah.
And on 24th September, a group of revolutionaries, 15 revolutionaries, decided that they'll storm the club and they'll burn the club, and jitne bhi Britishers hain unko maar denge. Something went wrong. Nobody really knows, because it's just a very small passage in history. I've tried to find out about it.
Yeah.
Not much knowledge exists. That something went wrong. No British had really died. One of the revolutionaries died, and it was this girl called Pritilata. And nobody knows anything about her except that she was a teacher. She was just 24 years old.
Okay.
And she was a fan, and she was obsessed by Rani Jhansi.
Okay.
That's it.
Oh, okay.
So my idea was, if I tried doing historical fiction about it, I will mess up.
Yeah.
Somebody or the other will get angry.
Yeah.
So I've taken the events and the other stories interspersed in them. So it's how a girl who starts having visions about the attack gets involved in it. I just thought it was fun.
No, because I was about to ask that question. Because when you normally say historical fictions, these are based on some actual historical real events. You take it up, you just fictionalize the characters, the incidents a little bit here and there, and then you just present it as a book. But then here, even I researched a little bit about Chittagong and what happened during 1932 and all those, but I did not really find much
There's
of
not
data
much about
anywhere.
it. It's very sad.
And plus, at the same time, this book has supernatural happenings in it.
Yes.
So then I was all confused. Like, how much of this is your imagination? How much of this is actual facts and reality?
I think the only fact in the reality about this book is that the club existed and it was on the top of the mountain. There was a river close by. That much I know, which is all very important in the sequence of the book. And that the girl was a teacher, and Pritilata was a teacher, and she passed away that night. She was shot in the hip. And she thought she was going to be interrogated and tortured by the police, so she consumed a cyanide pill. But the cops say that they weren't intending to torture her. They would have asked her questions and let her go, because nobody was harmed. But she committed suicide around the time. Those are the facts. Everything else is fiction.
Okay. Got it. But then the supernatural incidents that you're talking about, did you have any supernatural experiences in your real life that inspired you?
Not me. My my sister has had one, and I don't know whether to believe. I've pulled her leg about it. I've joked about it my entire life. My sister went to this college in Dalhousie. Dalhousie is a hill station. It's one of those hill stations where abhi tak developed nahi. Like Shimla and Mussoorie is fully crowded. Dalhousie isn't. It's not so commercial. If you ever go to Dalhousie, it's one of those Hindi film moments. There is a road that goes up, and on the top of the mountain, you will see a old building, which looks like an old century sort of palace. That's their college. It's Sacred Heart College. That's their college. It still exists there, because I went in about 7 years ago, and it's still like that. You go up to Dalhousie, Gandhi Chowk se aapko wo dikhta hai upar on the mountain, and there's a cemetery behind. I've been to the cemetery. The cemetery, and earlier it used to be a convent from the early 1900s. Only nuns used to live there, and it was a monastery.
Yeah.
And behind the cemetery, there are bodies buried from 1900s
My
onwards.
heartbeat is rising. Okay,
Yeah.
continue.
Okay, 1900s onwards. So my sister studied there for 3 years. One night, some college friends decided to play a prank in their huge dormitory. वो जब सो रहे थे तो रात को 2 बजे. Can I shift into Hindi?
Yeah, please.
Okay, I have a habit of doing that. So रात को 2 बजे they were sleeping and some girls decided to play a trick. So they went around shaking girls' legs because ghost stories were very popular. And if you go to that college and you see the dormitory, it's very scary.
Okay.
So the next morning, there was big, huge furor in the college that there are ghosts there, and the nuns there had to do prayers and put holy water around the college and everything to save them from ghosts.
Okay.
And the whole topic died down. Yeah, okay, good, whatever.
Yeah.
Except my sister insisted that somebody touched her face and said, "I'm Sister Valerie." I remember the name. "I'm Sister Valerie. God bless you, my child." So a couple of days later, she started asking all the girls who played the tricks that, "Did you?" And they said, "No, we never entered cubicles. We just touched everybody's feet and scared them." It turned into a big joke and everything. 2 years later, when the college was ending, and I mean, when she was graduating, they had this big reunion.
Okay.
And there was some students who came from, who had passed out 10 years earlier. Okay. They came and they said, "Did Sister Valerie come and meet one of you?" Because her ghost came and met us. Oh. That's when my sister freaked.
Oh.
She was like, "Oh my God, I was touched by a ghost," and she didn't realize it.
Yeah.
So she said the name Sister Valerie is still Sister Valerie. Oh, so that's her experience. I've pulled her leg my entire life.
Yeah.
But so I've never personally met a ghost.
Thankfully, okay.
I haven't.
Well, that's crazy. I mean, that's crazy. Now, when we're talking again, coming back to the book, do you have any plans with this book? Hopefully, in future, convert this into a script, screenplay, something like that. Because you're anyway, that's where your career has been throughout.
I would. I have. I've also planned for two sequels of it.
Oh, okay.
Those are all in my head. Whether it depends on but I'm already on to my next novel, which is not a sequel. I've already started related to this.
Wow.
But the plans to turn this into a script and to turn this into a series is something that I would love to. The story is there. It's fully developed. 4 seasons. Again, if anybody's listening, it's there.
Yeah.
But it all depends on what. Again, like I said, script writing cannot be my solitary process. It has to have people involved. So when I'm ready to work with the whole team, and that would be the time. And when the money is good enough, that would be the time.
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully,
and wishing you all the very best for that.
Thank you.
When it comes to the industry that you've been working in, and then when you said that you've been an avid reader, I found it very interesting because I thought people in the acting, art industries are extremely busy to take some time out and actually to read also. Do you have people like that a lot in the industry?
You know, people say that they're busy when they're acting. It's not true in the sense that you're busy, but there's also hours and hours that you spend at the sets when you're doing nothing, when you're sitting in your vanity van and doing nothing. That's where social media is a curse because everybody's on their phone.
Yeah.
I'm guilty too, but I love reading. And so, yes, I know lots of people who read. Shah Rukh sir reads. We've had discussions about books. Not that I've acted with him, I've interviewed him. So Shah Rukh sir reads. Konkana Sen Sharma is a very avid reader. We've discussed books. I've worked with her in Mumbai Diaries, season 1 and 2, very sweet. She's also read a copy of the
lovely.
book. So who else reads? A couple of them read. Aisha ji reads. Aisha ji, a friend of mine, Aisha Mishra, who was in Dil Dhadakne Do. She's here tonight. Thank you. So she reads. So I make it a point. My Kindle is my lifesaver because I am reading 2 or 3 books at the same time. So my Kindle is my lifesaver. And yes, but the fact is a lot of actors tend to be now more active on social media than read.
I agree to that. So there are a lot of people there's a common thread that comes from a lot of writers today, or people who want to become authors. There is a common thing that they keep telling that they don't get the time. They don't know when they sit, when they write. They're too busy with their careers. They're not getting the mind space. They want to take a break to go back and write. So this is generally a lot of people keep telling it. Or they finally had a book, but then they come back and telling I had the story in my head for the last 20 years, but then I couldn't come up with it because I thought I needed more time. So there are a lot of people who keeps on telling all of that.
Sorry, yeah.
So how or what would your advice be to people who wants to write? Because now for you, out of everything that you've been doing, you've been an actor, radio jockey,
Yes.
you've been taking interviews, there are a lot of things that you've been doing, and then you still found the time for it. So if you have to give some tips to people who would want to become writers.
I mean, yes, life is very busy. And if you're living in a city like Mumbai, life is extra hectic. You're spending 2 hours a day traveling wherever you're working. So I totally understand that. But if you want to write, you can definitely find time and place to write. Every damn coffee shop around the corner, you just need to put headphones on and write. I disagree. I'm not being judgmental. I disagree. I really think that it comes down to their own judgment about their writing interferes.
Okay.
If you're writing something and then तुम पढ़ के खुद criticize पहले करते हो. You have a standard. That's what happens with a lot of people that I know, including scriptwriters. They will write 2 pages today and they'll review it by the end of the evening and say, "Oh, that's shit." And that will never work.
That's why you never wanted to read.
So I knew that I did not want to edit while I was rewriting. I wanted to write the book as much as I can and then edit. Then you can start making judgments about it. People stop writing because they make judgments before they finish the task. Oh, I'm not good enough. It's sad, but it's not a timing issue. According to me, it's a judgment issue.
Oh, okay. That's a good way of putting it.
That's what I think.
Amazing. So who has been your biggest support or somebody who has always inspired you in a writing journey? I'm not talking about acting at all here.
From the people that I know?
Yeah. From real life. I'm not talking about some books that you've read. People who are somewhere.
In a way, I think my wife Supriti and Naya were really supportive in the sense that they tolerated my moods when I was writing. So I had one thing, like I told you, that I wanted to write 1,000 words or 2,000 words in the particular time. So if I've not finished it, I would be saying, okay, be out of my room. Let me spend half an hour doing this. So they were very supportive about that. As an inspiration, my mom, she's no more, but my mom would be an inspiration. The germ of the story came, unfortunately, when she passed. But I am from Ludhiana. I don't know if you know where Ludhiana is.
I definitely do.
Okay, so I'm from Ludhiana. It used to be a very small town when I used to live there. And we used to go to Calcutta every year. My grandparents were there. And we were not allowed video games in the journey. There was a 2-day journey and we were only allowed to buy books.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's actually good.
Yeah. So tum 2 din ho, you are only going to read books. You're not going to video. Yeah. So mom made sure that we were doing that. Plus, if you've ever been to Punjab in the summers, it's excruciatingly hot. Now more so. But when I was growing up, the summers were too hot. And so what afternoons used to be siesta time and everybody's sleeping. Mom and me used to be cooler ke samne baith ke. We were reading one book each. So she would be my biggest inspiration in terms of reading. And all my bad attempts at writing when I was growing up, she was very encouraging. She was a liar, but she was very encouraging. Because she said that was good. It wasn't. It wasn't good.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, that is great. I think I've always believed this. Family who encourages or instills reading habits to people as kids when they are from their school time, they actually pick it up at some point. And none
of my friends were doing that. I mean, very few friends that I know in Ludhiana. In Ludhiana, when I was growing up, there were literally just 3 bookstores in the entire city. I can name them: Lekhraj Saya, Lal Book Depot, and the mall.
Do they still
I have no idea. I've not been there in so many years, but there were only 3 bookstores. That's it. So it was still we used to we were allowed कि और कुछ पे पैसे नहीं खर्चेंगे, किताब खरीदो, पढ़ो.
That's beautiful. Thanks a lot to your parents for that, wherever they are. So final question to you is, there is a book, finally, I find that happiness in you, that this is achieved.
Yes.
I am wishing you all the very best in terms of the book. Let it have all the successes. If you would want to dedicate this book to somebody or give your acknowledgements, your thanks to somebody for this book being, who would that be?
There are too many people. This is going to sound like an Oscar speech, which is not
bad. If the speech is good, we can clip it later separately.
One, my mom, and it's a bit of a weird story which I'll share. My mom passed away on 13th of December 2020. COVID. I was in Mumbai, she was in Ludhiana. She went to the hospital on 12th night and we couldn't get a flight out till next morning 11. And we found out early morning that she was no more. So when I reached Ludhiana, I had this very strange feeling. I wanted to see if I could feel her. So I took the car and I went driving around the city, my old city. I had not been there in many years and we had not met. We went to our old house, which is unfortunately now a bank.
Okay.
Yeah. And I tried to get a sense and I didn't.
Okay.
Then I realized that every time mom you would say bye to me the last 3 years, her byes would sound very final.
Oh, okay.
Like she would say, I love you very much. I'm very proud of what you've done. I'm very proud of your life. And, don't worry about me. I've had a good life. And I would be like, Mom, you're just going home. Relax.
Yeah.
But she was saying this for the last 2-3 years.
Okay.
Every time she would go, she'd say bye like that. And I'd be like, "Kyun drama kar rahe ho?" You know, typically how kids would say. What it made me realize, and I could be completely wrong, is that she was saying a bye. So when she left, she left.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when she passed, her spirit went.
Yeah.
She didn't linger around.
Yes.
And people say when somebody goes and you love them, you have dreams about them. She's come in since 2020. She's come into my dreams just twice.
Okay.
Right, which is very weird.
Okay.
So I think she was saying her final goodbyes. That got me thinking. That means, in a way, she's gone at peace.
Peace.
She has nothing to do with this world anymore.
Yeah.
She's said a bye.
She's accepted and she's moved
She's
on.
accepted. She did her things and she's left. So then I kept thinking about why are 8 billion people on Earth?
Okay.
Because they keep coming back.
Yeah.
Because they leave unhappy.
Yeah.
So what if their final moment is at peace? Then they don't need to come back.
True.
That was the inspiration. What if there's somebody there who's walking around the earth, an angel or somebody, whose job is to make sure that at your last moments, you will leave at peace, and then you're done, and you'll be finished with this world, and you're ready for whatever's next.
Wow, that's a character for your next book.
Yeah, and that was the thought. That what if these angels? Like that's what if these angels or these kinds of people exist who are there just for that moment?
Yeah.
They're there to meet you at that moment and help you go. And then you have no desire to come back. You have no Maya, वो मोह या Maya, I don't know what they call it in Hindi, वो नहीं रहता है.
Moha, I think.
वो मोह नहीं है.
Basically, you got your moksha.
You're
leaving.
Yeah, you're leaving. That was the inspiration.
Wow,
but
beautiful.
It's a heavy subject.
Yeah, it is.
And I don't imagine people can spend 300 pages reading about this.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make it also interesting. Wow. And I wanted to also make it fast-paced. And I wanted the book to be run, and then, whoa, something is supposed to. I don't know whether I've succeeded, but that was the idea.
I'll let you know once you finish the book.
When something is supposed to hit you and something is supposed to make you emotional, in the middle of all the chaos and action, there's a moment where you go, oh, this has happened.
Wow.
I hope.
When I asked you, what would your acknowledgement be? I was expecting that you will say my friends, my colleagues who helped me,
they had nothing
who
to do
didn't pull me in when I was trying to write.
No, my friends had nothing to do with it. I take all the credit. No,
you literally gave me a different story altogether. But thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, I'm very self-obsessed. I apologize to my friends. No
worries. But Harsh, it's a beautiful book. I mean it when I said that. I've read almost 3/4 of the book, and the journey has been amazingly beautiful so far. And I would definitely suggest people to read it, not just as historical fiction. It's a thriller. It's supernatural. It's a lot of things packed together into a single book, which has some pages, but is so visual that you actually see it as a movie. So that's brilliant job. Congratulations to you.
Thank you so much.
I wish you all the very best with the book.
Thank you.
May your journey as an author, now that you've established proudly that you are an author, not just an actor, radio jockey, or whatever you've been doing before. Congratulations on that, and thank you so much for being here on
My pleasure.
Today.
Thank you so much, and thank you to all the people who are watching. I hope you like it. Please go pick it up. It's in bookstores now. Ekaki. Thank you.
Thank you.